This is an Angela Kane sew-along, sewing for beginners and for the more experienced seamstress, part 2 of 3. Check the link for part 1. Visit my site for information on downloading this pattern and information on fabrics, stockists and fabric prices. Moving on to preparing the backs. I will stay stitch here as I did with the lining back. And then I will join the backs, stopping at the dot. I'll clip into these angles in preparation for the vent construction. And then press the back seam open above the dot. Then I will join the side backs to the back pieces. There is not as much shaping here, but you will still need some snipping into the curves. The back is complete. The vent is prepared. Next, I'm going to join the fronts to the backs at the shoulder seam. This is the correction I mentioned in part 1. The interfacing for the front band should be 1.5 inches or 3.75 centimeters wide. The interfacing should be in line with the fold, and this will be here. This is the centre front line. I've joined the shoulder seams and trimmed the surplus seam allowance away. Here is the lining and facing. I will trim this seam allowance to reduce bulk and also so that the two seams are graded to avoid a ridge showing on the right side. I will now join the facing to the main garment. So, right sides together, pin, baste and stitch around the armholes and along the fronts and around the neckline, with one stitch across the corner, then mitre for a neat point when turned through. The seams will be trimmed and graded and the curves clipped. You can see here that I have trimmed and graded the seam allowances and snipped into the curves. The seam allowance needs to spread out like this when the garment is turned through. The complete and comprehensive ebook showing you how to make this garment is free. Download from angelakane.com. I'm going to turn right sides out by pulling the front sections through the shoulders like this. So getting between the layers, just grab the fronts and ease the sections through. It will look a mess while you're doing it. Watch my Sewing the Sleeveless Top for Beginners video. A word about neatening seam allowances. You don't have to neaten the seams on a fully lined garment, unless you plan to wash it. If you do neaten, you can zigzag or overlock all your pieces before you start, which is the method most often used in industry, or you can neaten seams as you go. Don't forget to always press seams as you go along. This will make all the difference to the final finish of your garment. This is looking really nice even before pressing. After pressing, I'm really pleased how this corduroy is behaving. I haven't needed understitching to keep the facing from rolling to the right side. See my video Sewing for Beginners, Understitching. If your garment is more of a lightweight, I recommend you stitch the front and around the neckline first. Press that seam and then understitch where you can. Then complete the armhole edges. And again understitch where you can. Next up is the vent. Skip over to my in-depth vent tutorial where I explain the vent fully for this pattern. In brief, tailor's tacks are most important here. From the left, go between the layers, right sides together, pin, baste and stitch the underlap edge to the lining. I'll just roughly pin it for now. Then from the right side, from between the layers again, picking up the lining edge and the overlap edge, pin, baste and stitch. Lining up the tailor's tacks carefully is essential. When turned back, you can see how it works. This is the overlap and the edge is the centre back line. Pull through the underlap section and you will find it falls into place. All of these 4 seam allowances are tucked away like so. The trick here is to machine baste across this fold first, and then you are able to get under the lining, grab all 4 seam allowances and stitch them together as close as possible to the fold. From the inside you will just see this fold, and from the outside you will have a perfect finish with no stitching showing at the top of the vent. The vent is done and is looking very neat. And the inside is looking neat as well. The next job is to complete the side seams. This sew-along continues in part 3, the final episode. Please subscribe to be kept up to date with new videos and patterns. This pattern is available in 9 sizes, UK 6 to 22. Join for all patterns or buy as a one-off download. Thank you very much for watching this sew-along series. See the notes below for more sew-alongs. See you in part 3.